Alright, well, I'm live and lovely. League of Legends does not want to take right now. What happens when I actually go to a game? There we go. And welcome fucking no one to my late night and I'm bored streaming stream.
I'm on the case.
And just in case gaming and yelling shows up, I'm gonna switch my skin. Apparently he does not like the whore country chick look. But cosplay slut, totally legit. So I don't know if the people watching are simply just me, but if there's anybody actually listening in. Tom P's going to join in a second. We're going to talk about some shits. Alright, now to see if it actually picks the full screen mode up. I'm evil little face.
Hot on the trail.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Seconds until minions spawn.
We will see what happens when I reopen the game.
Want to see a hat trick?
Line forms right here. Welcome to my show.
Oh, there we go. A little off-centered, but I'll fix that later.
Sorry, birds. I keep the fuzzy caps at home. Up for a showdown? Boom. Headshot. So many bad guys. So little fun.
Motherfuck. I don't understand what's going on. I have teleport for some reason. Which means I probably have fucked up runes going on too, I'm gonna be real honest. What do we get for starting the game?
Time for a shakedown. Being under the gun.
An ally has been slain.
Yo, what up, son?
What's up, man?
Chill. What's going on with you?
I've had a weird weekend so far. Like, I've been really fucking busy. I went and like I had to dog sit for my sister. But then I go over there and I find myself just helping this dude out, like while he's trying to fix his boat, and they can't get it fixed. They already like the dog, like it's my sister's boyfriend. So the dogs were like already fed and shit. And I was just like, I'm just gonna go home and like sleep in my own bed. And then I show up like real fucking early tonight.
Where do you show up? Where?
To their house, or real early this morning.
Uh,
That's what I meant to say. To babysit the dogs, and I don't know. Like at the end of the day, it was just kind of like, meh.
meh.
I don't even know I was there. Like, granted, I mean, I love dogs. Those dogs love me, but like, I just ended up dropping them off at my parents' house, who said they were gonna take them anyway. So it's just a whole bunch of me like fucking around for nothing.
I got you. How's work going?
Not by a long shot.
It's better. It's a lot better, actually. Like, I talked about this to you last year, but like because of COVID, right? Like, and everything being kind of fucked, and them trying to make data-driven decisions. You know what I do, right? Like, I do reports. I provide data, and so it was a fucking shit show for like a year or a year and a half. But the season finally ended, right? Like, it's March, and we already had like our expected tax returns. Actually, I can finally say this in public, and I totally didn't tip you off like illegally. But we had like a record season for our company.
Yeah. Well, I think you said that the last time I talked to you.
Yeah, I did. I messaged it to you too, and was just like, yeah, we might be publicly traded. There might be a good reason to buy it. I would have, but I legally am not allowed to.
I'll be honest, man, I ain't fucking stressing. You know what I mean? And I don't want to put nobody in any particular position. You know what I'm saying? On some motherfucking Martha Stewart type of shit.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know, man. I think
like,
I feel like the kind of money that we work with, nobody's gonna give a fuck. That's not what they're after. They're not after the person that turns $1,000 into $10,000. They're after the person that turns $100,000 into $3 million.
I don't know.
Well, actually, the only reason I would say I don't know is an acceptable answer is, did you see whenever the IRS was in front of Congress and they were talking about the people they target for audits? They're just like, rich people lawyer up, but poor people usually just paid even if they don't really owe the money. So we just go after poor people.
Yo, dude, legit. I fucking I've been standing here and like, did you hear about? Did you see my earlier stream at all? Yo, so Jeff Bezos is getting motherfucking bailed out by the fucking federal government because he lost the fucking contract to Elon Musk with fucking NASA.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, they're giving him $10 billion fucking dollars. Right,
Man, this is sort of like, this kind of goes back to like, people are like, and that's capitalism. Was like, no, not really.
No, that's socialism for them. You know what I mean? Capitalism for us.
It's yeah, I guess it's corporate social. Really, it is economic fascism. Like, that's what fascism was all about. Is like the state and these fucking private industries. We're gonna go hand in hand and fucking work together because we think it makes us powerful and it's a good idea. And they really did. Like, I mean.
Well, it's Italian.
Well, it also, yeah, exactly. Like, what I was going straight from Mussolini, like his thoughts, and I was like,
yeah,
this is one of the things like the critical race theory shit. And I'm just like, it's just like another repackaging of Marxism. Like, is it Marxism? No, but it's Marxian, and it's the same thing. Like, you try to explain to people that fascism was another rendition of Marxism, and it really was. Listen to what Mussolini said. All he did. Yeah, no. He still agreed with a lot of Marxist principles.
Well, yeah. Like, I used to be a libertarian until like I fucking decided I hated the Libertarian Party and everybody who fucking was in it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, like, it's kind of that mentality. Like, yeah, like this is my group, but I fucking can't stand most of these goddamn people because like they're fucking worthless fucking shitheads who just want to do cocaine and get fucking stoned. You know, like I don't fucking like these fucking people. You know, like excuse me, I'm down here on the bottom trying to fucking earn a way up, and I feel like you assholes are trying to hold me the fuck back. You know, like. The libertarian ideologies of today are fucking they're just goddamn trash in the end of the day. Because they still want all the same fascist fucking bullshit that the goddamn fucking Republicans want. Except maybe like they're anti-war. Maybe. And that's a big goddamn maybe.
Dude, I can't even tell you what the Libertarian Party stands for. Because some of them are sitting there being like, critical race theory is like super libertarian. And it's like, it calls itself explicitly anti-enlightenment principles. Libertarianism is just like the whole classical liberal enlightenment principles taken to its extreme, like almost to an absurd extreme, right? That's where you get like no government is legitimate because all it can do is exercise force on people.
Yeah, and like I hate the idea of the government. Like, I don't know, man. Like, Can you come up with a better way of making individuals do what they're supposed to do? Yeah, exactly. Like,
No,
that's kind of
it's
like
one of
that
those things
kind of-
where it's just like, well, so like no, but I would prefer like because they're gonna fuck up regardless. Like either the people running shit are gonna fuck everything up, or the people just doing what they're gonna do is gonna fuck everything up. So I'd rather choose the method of fucking things up that has the lowest level of coercion.
I mean, I honestly,
Does that make sense?
I believe, yeah, like I honest to God, I believe that like we could have stop and frisk if we would stop arresting people.
Yeah, well, so like,
Like if you just
That
took
kinda-
the drugs and the goddamn guns, you know what I'm saying? Like took cocaine and heroin, you know what I'm saying, and guns out of the fucking hands of like the fucking retards on the corner who are fucking selling it, right? And didn't charge them with a crime. Like I feel like you'd be better off.
I don't know that kind of stuff. I'm just like I sit around and I think I'm just like,
Oh yeah.
do I think it works to do what it's supposed to do? Like that's fine, but at the same time, I'm just I guess get it down to like why do we need to do this? And a lot of it, I think, is the war on drugs. I've said that a billion fucking times. It's amazing how I can't sit here and have a real conversation with people that want to, they call it in the name of systemic racism. And I'm just like, hey, look, me and you both, like, new policy. Like, we're going to end the war on drugs, right? Stop treating it like a fucking criminal thing. Like, you know what? I'm actually for even not making it illegal to sell drugs to people. And I think we'd end up with better results. And there's actually some evidence. Portugal did it. It was a pretty good job. Regardless, like, they don't want to listen to somebody like me. These new critical race theorists, like I call them. They don't give a shit about the fucking war on drugs. In fact, they probably think it should still be there because they probably are moral authoritarians that don't want people taking drugs. Which I understand. But, like, that's like the single biggest thing that would alleviate the disparities that they complain about. And they don't even talk about it. It's not in the literature. They just don't give a shit. They will reference the fact that we decided that we're going to have bigger penalties for doing crack than some other drugs, right? But even them, like, they're just like oblivious to history, right? Like,
Well, I mean,
all black legislators in all black cities decided on that. Why? Because cocaine was expensive and it wasn't fucking ruining communities like crack was.
Well, it's more all right, how do I put this? You can get cocaine, well, cocaine and crack's almost the same goddamn price, right?
Well, I actually don't know that anymore. For a long time, crack was cheaper because you were freebasing it, so...
Well,
It's not, like, when I say
no,
cheaper, like, you gotta understand what I'm talking about.
I mean, nah, like, yo, well, all right, I get the fact that, like, all right, now here's the thing about cocaine and crack. Like, crack is cut harder, right? But that's only because you're freebasing it, so that means there's more money involved. Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, like, you get... Crack is, highly efficient cocaine. That's what it is.
Well, it's not highly efficient cocaine. It's yeah. Okay.
You're just like, you had to go back and we're like, yeah, it's taking a certain amount of cocaine, turn it into crack, and getting a more effect for the dollar. It is efficient cocaine.
It's the same. Well, it's not about like the fact that like you get like more effectiveness. You know what I mean? In that way, it's that you can stand here and do it without putting it up your fucking nose or shooting it.
I guess.
Right? With crack, you know what I'm saying? You just throw it in the fucking pipe and you smoke it, right? Because it's cut with baking soda, you know what I mean, and then fucking boiled and shit, and you know what I mean, it becomes crack and shit. You know, and that way, like, you can stand here and, you know, fucking move it as a rock rather than move it as powder. Because powder literally it'll get you like for the weight, like powder will get you higher, put that up your fucking nose and shooting it, you know what I mean, than you will fucking like smoking it. Is kind of the deal. Right? But on the same point, like fuck, if you take crack versus, you know what I'm saying, just straight coke, because there's gonna be more coke involved with fucking, you know what I mean, like the weight wise because of the baking soda cutter for fucking having to stand here and
I love how we got like super technical because we both don't know too much about drugs.
go, man.
Like, well, the only point I was trying to make
you
was
talking to a hustler and shit.
yeah,
you know what I
the
mean?
only
Like,
well the
telling
only
me
point
fucking-
yeah, the only point I was even trying to fucking make was that like yeah, like crack was a problem in communities that were being destroyed. Cocaine wasn't. Like
Yeah,
we have
well,
really bad
here's
meth
the
laws
real issue.
too.
Here's the real issue, right? Like legit. And the real issue is this is that, you know what I mean, fucking the crack problem is the fact that like, and this is the problem with libertarians, right? This is the problem I see with like most Republicans today, is that the laissez-faire mentality of fucking capitalism that Republicans and most libertarians have is fucking retarded.
I don't think it's retarded at all. I just think
I think it's
what no, I don't think it's retarded. I think what happens is they take one very specific thing, right?
right.
And then they don't account for all the other factors where like government is involved. And then they try to make an argument.
Well, let me put it this way, right? So I got fucking went and cooked me up a fucking steak because I was like, I'm hungry and I don't want any carbs. So, because I had fried chicken earlier and like fucking really bad. But so what is government for, right? And I think that's something that libertarians and Republicans need to have a conversation with themselves about.
Yeah, well, it should be protecting private property rights, but
Okay, well, no. Well, let's go back to the beginnings of government, right? And this is something that I've done on my channel like 1,000.
yeah, I know. We can go back to the beginning, and they're fucking awful.
Well, they weren't fucking awful though, but like you have to have the original purpose for why we have government, right? Like when we formed a government, the reasons why you form a government as a whole, because government is a natural fucking thing for civilization. Right, it's something that you kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Well, I agree with it only in the sense that I think people want to be governed.
No.
No, I think they do.
Not it. That is literally not it.
I'm sorry, they do.
Well, no, I mean, but that's not it though, right? Like, why do you form a government? Like, if it was like, you know, you and like fucking, you know, there was 200,000 people in the United States.
Okay, like I could come up with an answer to that. Like, I think where you're getting is so, like, imagine like primitive societies with like different groups of people that want to do something. You come together for a united cause because people were fucking terrible, and we need to get together and make our society function and not be interfered with by other societies that may wish harm on us.
Okay. So let's put this like this, right? So like if you go back to Samaria, right? Like the very beginnings of fucking society and shit, you know. And you stand here and you go to ancient Sumer. Like the reasons why they started government was because of agriculture, right? Like they had to have like fucking, you know, this land is yours and you can, you know what I mean, fucking get paid off of the amount of barley that grows here. And, you know, while you're gone at the store, you know, you need individuals to be able to protect your fucking, you know, your property, which would be your wife and your children. And, you know what I'm saying? You want to be able to do commerce with somebody else. So you have to have a unit of measurement that's agreed upon within peoples and these type of things, right? This is what government's for, right? At the end of the day, like this is the very basics of what government is. Like your government does like three things. One, it fucking, you know what I'm saying? It stands here and protects your wives and kids while you're away, right? In your fucking home. It stands here and, you know what I'm saying? It divvies out fucking resources to the individuals who are protecting your fucking wives and kids while you're away. And you know what I'm saying? It fucking sets a market where like, you have universal measurements and payments and fucking you know what I mean, allows for whatever it is you're going to be able to do inside of that society. Right. That's what a
By
government.
the way, real quick, I want to say what's up to Dumbbeard. I think it's the only person watching this right now. I know I'm on my channel. I didn't really care. I'm just like, once again, it's fucking 2 in the morning. I was just bored.
I thought I'd grab this fucking stream off your shit and I'll, you know what I mean, fucking throw it up on mine later. You know what I mean?
Sure, fine, why not?
You know, like it's cool. You know what I mean? That way, like, fucking you get love, I get love. You know what I'm saying? And like fucking, because this is a conversation that needs to be had as a whole, right? And there's very few individuals who are able to hold this type of conversation, right?
Well, no. So the problem with this conversation, like, we were sitting here talking about like government, right? Like, what is the government gonna do? What is it for? The problem is like we're not even there to have that conversation, right? Like, I want smaller government. You want smaller government too. You just don't want it as small as I want it. Guess what? We have a long way to fucking go before we disagree on things where government's gonna be small. Like, in fact, it just never goes in the direction to like actually change any of that.
I feel you. Right? You know, like the mentality that I have as a whole about fucking government, and I think it's very, very close to what the fuck yours is. But it's I go, all right, man, like, yo, what is important
yeah. Here's the difference between me and you. We both agree people are fucking dumb, right? We agree with that. Like, in general, like, people are dumb. Like, you just put it in aggregate, people are fucking stupid. So,
yeah.
Your idea is that you're gonna have government, and they're gonna be a little bit smarter, and they're gonna keep people like more or less in line, right? And it's gonna be better off than. What my idea is where like, no, even like if you get people in government, like they're fucking dumb, so they're just gonna make it worse than the situation already is. Like, that's really the difference. Like, you're like, yeah, maybe we can put some people that are less dumb in power and not have dumb outcomes. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't think you can. Like, I think it's still gonna suck.
Well, no, I mean, like, yo, because I wanted to get to like some technical, like some basic technical shit about government, right? And it's the third point that I think we get fucked up on, right? Is that the government sets a market.
I don't think they can.
I think they do.
I think they try, but I don't think they can. I don't think that's actually a practical thing.
Well, no, like, yo, the government says what you are and are not allowed to do, right? And this is the agreement upon, you know what I'm saying, the marketable class inside of your society, right? You know what I mean? He goes, all right, this is what we are and are not allowed to do.
Yeah, the problem is like shit that like you're not allowed to do, like, you know, fucking kill people. Like, that's kind of like universally understood, right?
No,
but
not. Depending on what country you're in, it's not.
You're right. You're kind of right. I think I do believe in humanism. I think there is, like, to a large extent, a level of humanism where most people kind of understand, like, you shouldn't fucking kill other people. But I realize that situations in certain societies, mostly caused by governments, even if they're not officially called a government, because you got to remember, what is the definition of a state in the Mises land?
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I wasn't really trying to quiz you, but it is the group of people that has the monopoly of force over a given territory. That's the state. So, and that's why, like, you go back to the Mises people that were against the state, you're just like, all right, so maybe I don't necessarily call that the state, but if that's the definition, I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, and here's the thing, right? Like, your state is going to be dictated by your culture.
I mean, I agree with that too. Like, especially with, like, more and more people are like, Like, we're talking about communism. Like, communism is to blame for X, Y, and Z. But communism is an actual ideology that expands way past any kind of economic structure. Like, it's a thing. It's a moral philosophy. It's a cultural society. Yeah, exactly. So, whenever you're like talking about communism, it's a lot different than talking about capitalism. Capitalism is not that. Capitalism is an amoral thing. It's actually more observations of how economic exchanges work between individuals and on aggregate. So you can have a society that is completely free market based, but if the morals of the people are just fucking terrible, like, yeah, capitalist economy, it's gonna suck.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like, so, and this is the problem that you have with government as a whole when we're talking about here, because this is not a country that we live in, right? I've come to that conclusion that the United States is not a country, right? So, the United States is a continent, right? Because you can't, like, you literally cannot call this a fucking country anymore.
Well, like, it's supposed to be, but at the very least, I have to admit that, like, yeah, there's like no unification or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the mentality that I have, is that, you know, our country that we live in right now is a fucking continent full of individuals with different cultural ideologies that are often in conflict and contradict what it is that we're supposed to do. And it's not like, you know, where, like, the only other country on the planet that's even comes close to what the fuck we are is China, right?
Well, with monetary growth and power, with a completely different ideology behind it.
Well, no. I mean, like, as far as like how the structure's set up,
Time for a shakedown.
right? Like in ways of like the different types of people that live inside of the fucking borders of that state, right? I mean, because like China runs the gambit from the Han Chinese to the Uyghurs to, you know, fucking like the fucking capitalists in the fucking South, and you know what I'm saying, the individuals in like towards fucking Vietnam, or like they're just a completely different people, different cultures, different heritage. They speak different languages, right? China is probably the only country on the planet that is as far divided in its mentalities of its people as we are. And they're unbelievably fucking fascist in their mentalities of how they run their goddamn government. Right? And that's the only reason it works. Because that they run things through extreme force. And the United States as a country, we try this mentality of having the market set how shit moves, and it doesn't work most of the goddamn time. Like, it's running shit off of the force and fucking basic momentum at this point. And I don't think it's gonna last too much fucking longer as far as shit's really concerned. Because like
when you said we're running shit off the force, I was like, yes, we're running shit off of space magic. Incredibly accurate.
Like the Metachlorians are fucking getting it done right now, you know, like, because it doesn't work, you know, in the end of the day, like, because the individuals who live inside of this country and their heritages are fucking just far different from one another. Like, as far different as possible.
Well, and the belief in actual liberty and freedom is like really waning with our population.
Oh yeah.
Like that shared common idea of what like liberty is. This is why, like, you know, I do the whole critical race theory thing. But my real problem with this is like these people that call themselves liberals are buying into this. And for the longest time, like, yeah, the liberals had like a different idea on what government's role in healthcare could be, what government's role in what private business can do when it like comes to discrimination could be. But for the most part, they still had this core, very enlightenment-based belief in liberty, even if it was misguided. And now they're just throwing that away. They're just like, no, fuck it. We're not even gonna believe in enlightenment values anymore. We're gonna move this. We're gonna move to something else. We are actually gonna be the Marxists you accused us of being for decades before they were even actually being Marxist.
Did you ever watch my video I did about Sinrise and Sinrise and Ryan themselves video about fucking Ted Kaczynski's the neatest trick that the system pulls?
I think I did, but it's been a bit.
Well, it hasn't been that long since I dropped it. It's only been like, a few months, right? And because I'll be honest with you, I think that was the best video that Ryan and fucking Sinrise ever produced, right? And I snatched it. Right? Like, immediately. I snatched that motherfucker up. I sat here and I fucking read it off. Or I sat here and I fucking went over it. I broke it down. And this is why, like, I hate fighting against critical race theory, right? At the end of the day. And Ted Kaczynski he wraps it up perfectly. Basically, what it is that the system wants more people in it in order to continue to fucking expand, right? And the ideology is that the more individuals they have in the workforce and are able to give loans out to and sell houses to and whatever, it expands the fucking system. And that's basically all of that, of what this whole wokety woke fucking critical race theory nonsense is really about, because it actually has nothing to do with really fighting racism as a whole.
Well,
It
okay.
just wants more people into the fucking system.
Okay. I agree with you, maybe like broad picture. I think that's why powerful people like, the Democrats adopted.
Yeah.
But I do not believe that is the case for the people that are trying to perpetuate it without society. Like, you have true believers, real zealots.
Yeah. I mean, but like those people there, like the reason why they promote it is because it promotes them. Right? It promotes their power. And then like I break down here recently, actually, like I think yesterday or the day before, I did a video, and I've been reading like a lot of shit recently. I'm like, fuck, I ain't got nothing but time to read. So like I sit and listen to audiobooks all night, or like I fucking whatever. Like I listen to YouTube videos breaking down, like they're just like robots reading fucking articles and books and whatever and Substack shits. And like once you figure all this out, right, and you put the math together about what everything is, it's really simple. Like the Democrats, they actually did a study where they sat here and they found out where Democrats pull their candidates and their staffers from. And about 90% of the individuals pulled out of like 12 fucking schools. It's like NYU, fucking Georgetown, fucking Harvard, Princeton, Yale, fucking whatever, right? And all the individuals who get hired as CEOs all get fucking are all from, fucking the same goddamn places. And then the individuals running the media, or the individuals standing here running, are all from the same damn places. So it ends up being this giant feedback loop that just keeps promoting the same dumb bullshit, right? Because these individuals here understand, and the higher ups get it, that the reasons why they do this shit is so that they can sit here and fucking put all this together and make our fucking system into a bigger thing, right?
Yeah, what you're doing is like you're explaining basically the circle jerk theory.
What?
Just in a more complicated way.
What?
The circle jerk theory. Just a giant fucking circle jerk. Like, you get all these people that think the same, that are irresponsible for all these, like imagine, and this is maybe one of the best examples of circle jerk theory, but to get stuff put in an academic journal, you have to have peer review. So here's what they do. They get somebody that agrees with everybody that is going to promote a certain idea to start a journal, right? And then they get a little circle going on at their academic institution, and then somebody writes an article supporting what they want to talk about, right? And then another person that already agrees with them is the peer reviewed person, and then the journal is just like, I accept it. This is academic work. And I'll be right back.
Okay. Anyway, right? Like, man, listen, I can't have a discussion with myself. Like, I gotta wait for this nigga to get the fuck back.
And I'm back.
Okay, cool.
Sorry about that.
So, like, here's my thing, right? As far as the circle jerk theory is concerned. So it's an absolute truism, but
it works outside of academia, like news. Circle jerk, right? That's what we get.
well, again, they all come from the same
Social media fact checking, just a big circle
same
jerk.
place. They all come from the same place, right? And so, like, they all have the same facts inside of their heads, right? Their worldview is set by the same goddamn people, right? And this is the problem that I think, you know, what I mean, we're not recognizing as a whole. It's kind of my mental, like where the fuck I'm at in my theory of the world as far as how shit works, right? They're all the same goddamn people. And the reason for the critical race theory is the same reason why the system pulls the trick it does. It's just because of the fact that they want, and I hate this word because I always fuck it up. They want a homogenous fucking society, right? Because it's easier to sell in a capitalist market to the same people than it is to sell to different cultures.
Yeah, with like, I've actually talked about this a lot. So with this critical race theory nonsense, you have this academic discipline, and in academia, like these people are zealots. Basically, it's like a theological thing. I mean, it really is, and they truly believe it. In politics, you have a lot of people that I don't believe they actually believe in it, but they find it useful because it's becoming popular and it's in academia, so it has like a sense of authority over it. And I think there's actually a struggle going on. Like, I don't know who's playing who, right? We know the Democratic Party is using critical race theory as something that they're kind of pushing just to get policies that they want to get pushed anyway, right? And I don't even know if they actually believe it.
Like, no, because they're getting it for voters, right? Like, that's what they want. They want more voters.
Well, yeah, it can help them with that too. Which
That's
it's
the
a
thing.
double-edged sword because there's a lot of Democratic people that actually would not support that. But I think there is a big difference between the people that are pushing this for power via politics and the academics that actually believe it. And I think
here's
both.
the thing.
I think both groups. Hold on, like I think both groups, right? The actual people that really believe in this critical theory nonsense, right? Like they're basically a Marxist, and then the political people that are permissive for it. I think both of them think that they're playing each other, and I don't actually know who's winning that game. Right? Like the people that believe in it think they're playing the politicians, and the politicians who don't really believe it think they're playing the people that do. And I'm not. I'm actually not sure who's winning at this point. Like when it came to religion, right? The Christian Coalition and the Satanic Panic, I knew who was winning. It was the politicians. But on this one, I don't know.
Well, like the thing is with, you know what I'm saying, like that whole, you know what I mean, Christian fucking nonsense. Like that was about them gaining power through enforcing social fucking standards and, you know what I mean, like that type of nonsense, right? And with this critical race theory, again, like corporations are governments, right? In the end of the day, because they run their structures the same way a goddamn government does. Like that's how fucking like the like if
Corporations don't have monopoly of force, except for when they do, which is usually granted to them by what government?
Right, but they're governments, right?
No.
Corporations are they're government structures, right? They had the same government structures as and a fucking government does.
I get what you're saying, and I actually have no reason to clarify because nobody's watching. Yeah, I get it. Like big corporations, they may as well be governments, right? They're like government-sanctioned entities to begin with.
Yeah,
it's like when people say the Federal Reserve is a private institution. No, it's not. Right? No. Like, and you can look at big corporations and compare it to the government, like that same thing, and it's like, no, it's not.
You know, like corporations are fucking government at the end of the day. Like fucking they act like government.
Well, I'm saying hashtag not all. I'm saying most corporations, like literally most corporations. Like, we're gonna get technical. Well, no.
Fucking run government.
Well, I'm saying, like, literally most corporations, they're not like that at all, right? Like, most corporations, like, you wouldn't even think about it, but it's just like any random Joe company you go to is incorporated. Or a lot of them are. All right. But I know what you're talking about. What you're really talking about is, like, Facebook, Walmart, Amazon. Like, are they really acting like as independent, even as incorporated individuals? Are they operating outside the bound of the government? Are they not getting a special favor where coercion is actually a big reason why they're able to maintain the top of their market share? Like, those are the people you're talking about.
Yeah.
Hold on. I'm going to coin a new word, right? Like, Ron Paul era. He just said corporatism's got to go. Instead of calling them corporations, we should call them corporatorisms.
Corporatorisms. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I'm on this mental where I'm like, I get the anti-corporation mentality, like, at the moment.
Me too. No, like, I never got away from that. Like, I understood it, but we have this group of people that are like, the popular anti-corporation message is a bunch of fucks that I want nothing to do with. Like, it's this new fucking...
We have no home. Me and you have no political
home. This is like whenever it was on a Let's Be Franks podcast. You were on there the same day, but it was just like, well, I'm not a conservative.
Yeah, no.
And Frank was like, you know what? You're not.
Yeah, I know, because I went on there and
you're more of a conservative than I am.
Yeah, but I'm not even a conservative either.
Yeah,
right?
you're way more conservative than I am, though.
Yeah, but I'm not, right? Like, at the end of the day, like, I'm not.
You are. We've had some personal questions. Like, here's the difference between me and you. If I had kids and my son, I found out, like, my son told me he was gay, and, like, let's just say he was, like, old enough to actually say that, because if he did it when he was 7, I would be fucking taking him out of public school. But, like, like my 17-year-old son says, like, dude, I'm gay, and I wouldn't care. And you're like, I'd have a hard time with that. That's where you're more conservative with me. Yeah, I know.
You know what I mean? Right? Like, I disown a little.
So you are more conservative than me. That is, if that is not an example of you being more conservative than me, I don't know what is.
Well, is that conservative or is that just my cultural heritage? You know what I mean? That's because I'm just on.
Well, so yeah, this is actually like a pretty good point where, I've noticed the rise of the conservatarian, right? Like, and Frank has gotten there too. Aircraft Sparky's there, right? The reason I am more comfortable being like in the conservative movement is because the conservatives have become more and more what I call conservatarians, where they are personally conservative, but they do not support any laws to enforce their personal beliefs.
Okay.
So they're Ron Paul was kind of the same way, right? But you get where I'm at. Like, they're libertarians, but they're they're not gonna back down on what they personally believe, right? Like, they're gonna be like, I think gay marriage is wrong, but what business of the government is it, right? Like, I don't care. If you disagree with me, I'm okay with it, and I don't want the government to enforce that.
Yeah, I'm with that ideology. But on the same point, again, this is where I get back to
What
the point.
role am I supposed to be playing?
I have no idea. No clue whatsoever. Right. Like I don't think the United States is a country. And that's really where that boils down to at the end of the day.
I have the tools for the job.
Right? Because the United States, like, it's too big of a goddamn, it's too big of a landmass and too heavily populated on its fucking east and west coast, and then in, you know what I'm saying, the fucking middle to fucking be a goddamn country. Like, the geography has bred too many different types of individuals who just vehemently disagree on fucking social issues that the government seems to want to enforce on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
You know, so that's kind of where that gets down to. But like, I'm like, I went on Let's Be Frank's channel that day and I argued about like fucking defunding the police.
Yeah, just because we're in Odyssey, I just talked about COVID, to be honest.
Are we on Odyssey?
No.
What about Odyssey and COVID? What?
Oh no, I was on Odyssey on Frank's channel.
When were you on Odyssey? What does he? Wait, can you stream on Odyssey yet or no?
Yeah, you can now.
Oh shit, I'm about to fucking start streaming over there. Right. But like, yeah, man, like I cannot get. I don't even remember where the fuck I was, to be honest with you.
Hot on the trail.
Defunding the police, right? Like, I'm like, yo, look, you don't need fucking police as a goddamn whole in every fucking community in America. And it gets to the point where more cops are not helping the fucking situation. Like, they're literally causing the problems that, you know what I mean, that fucking you're
It's
trying
the
to
fucking laws.
I agree. Right? But it's also the police. Right? It's also the fucking police.
Yeah, because they have to enforce them.
Well, no. It's also the police's salaries and fucking pensions. Like, because you have to pay for them. That causes a problem upon itself. Not me. You busy at the second, man?
Oh, sorry. I was in the middle of a fight. No, I don't know, man. Like, I hate the cops. I really do. But like, these people that are like complaining about these situations where cops did something, like, they're always like the worst situations you can tell me about, like when the cops did something. And I'm just sitting here like, well, I don't know. You're making me want to like the cops because these are like terrible examples of cops doing stuff wrong. And then
I agree.
well, there's some other shit too, right? Like the Chauvin case, right? After I actually listened to the case, my thought on it is that it's not that Chauvin should not have been convicted of something. It was that it really actually shouldn't have been on Chauvin. It should have been on the police department as a whole. Does that make sense? Like, he was just doing what he was told to do. Like, but like what he was told to do was fucked up. Like, it was a little bit wrong. It did not take in consideration the life of George Floyd. So I think it was an issue not against Chauvin. He didn't need to go to jail. He was just doing what cops are supposed to do. It was case against the cops in general.
Like, I hate the cops as a whole, right? But I also believe that, like, in areas that have been deindustrialized and you took away the ability for people to have middle class incomes and live their fucking lives, you know, to have a police force there enforcing rules that were set in when life was really good is fucking terrible. And it's horrible as a whole, right? And I think George Floyd would have never been in fucking, you know what I'm saying, Minnesota to begin with if, you know what I mean, there weren't all these garbage ass fucking laws that ran him out of goddamn Texas.
I mean, maybe.
Like, real shit. Like, he left Texas, like, running away from, like, child support and, you know what I mean, fucking just garbage laws that were in goddamn Texas.
I mean, that's another law that I think needs to be fucking changed, just the way we deal with child support.
Everything that we do
it's
needs
goddamn,
to be fucking changed. Everything
goddamn
needs to go
fucking
on
retarded.
the table.
But it, like, what I'm saying, like, it goes back to, like, is the issue really, like, I mean, it can be some cops, but a lot of these situations they present me, it's like, the cop's not doing anything he's not being told to do. That's how I felt about Chauvin.
Well, I don't know. Like, I'm gonna say this about Chauvin, right? Like, I think Chauvin should have took him and threw him in the back of the fucking car and just fucking been done.
He might have still died, though, from everything I understand.
Well, if he would have died in the back of the car because, like, fucking, you know what I'm saying, like, he died of a drug overdose, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
I don't know.
You know, he wouldn't have had this conversation, legitimately, if they would just tossed him in the back of the car, even if it was roughly, right, and, like, fucking, they stood there and they said, oh, man, fucking, what'd he die from? And you're like, fucking stop, he just stopped goddamn breathing in the back of the fucking car. They'd be like, why do you stop breathing in the back of the car? Like, yo, fucking, there was massive amounts of drugs inside the system. Oh, okay, we're done. Move on. Because there wouldn't have been that fucking 9-minute video of that nigga just leaning on that motherfucker's back the whole time and going, oh, man, well, you know, he might have been able to survive this overdose, but he couldn't get any air into his system because, like, fucking, he had extra weight on his fucking ribcage. You know
Yeah,
I mean?
no, I do know what you mean. Like, I mean, I watched it. Like, so when I watched the first video, I was like, we were on stream together with Tennessee Marine. We all kind of agreed, like, dude, that cop just fucking let this guy die. But then I started watching, like, what are police trained to do? What actually happened? Like, all this stuff. And I'm just like, this cop was sitting here in a situation where I don't even know if he like, could have made the right decision. I really don't. Like, the best decision he could have made, not be a cop.
I agree. But again, if he would have just tossed him in the fucking car, it would have been all over with. You know what I mean? And then, like, his responsibility is nullified as far as, I mean, him physically fucking causing that guy's death. Because the longer you handle somebody, the more closer you get to having the opportunity of that motherfucker dying. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, you know, if you don't want to be responsible for a kid's death, you probably shouldn't be babysitting. You know what I mean? Like, he had him in cuffs. Like, why the fuck is it you could not get him in the car? Like, why are you punishing him like a 5-year-old by, like, standing here, like, fucking putting him on the ground and going, I'll let you up as soon as your dumbass behaves yourself. You know what I mean? Like, and that's really, he should have been given, like, fucking 24 opportunities during that 9-minute period to fucking be able to, you ready to get the fuck in the goddamn car? You know what I'm saying? And then, like, he could have gotten him in the fucking car and the dude would have been like, oh, fucking, he died in the car. Why? Fucking ate all of his fucking drugs that he had. And they were like, oh, that's really not the cop's fault. And then it'd have been over with. And we wouldn't have had all this whole, like, fucking George Floyd bullshit. It might have been somebody else who that happened with.
So,
it wouldn't have fucking had that 9-minute video.
So what really gets fucking stupid, it's like we're sitting here talking about, like, it was kind of a complicated situation, right? Like really thinking about it, like, it's not the norm, right? It's just something that like, that one is just something that happens.
Right.
Like, all the cut and dry situations that are, like, real fucking easy to decide, those don't make the fucking news. They never do.
Sorry, boys.
It's always the ones that like there's you can look at it and it's all in the eye of the beholder.
That's like the one in Atlanta that I covered as well. Fucking where like, you know what I'm saying, the cops wrestled around with the dude and got him the fuck out of there. And the dude got out and he fucking took the taser with him. And he fucking tried to tase one of the cops. He tased one of the cops on the way out. And they shot him, right? And I'll be honest with you, like I disagreed with that dude being shot, right? Because I'm like, well, you know, let's be 100% honest here. You knew who the dude was. You had his ID. You knew what fucking family members he had there. You could have found him again and locked him up. And he probably wouldn't have fucked up any other time in that area at that point. Because he knew that he was wanted by the cops, so he wasn't gonna fucking, you know what I mean, fuck around. Like, and he didn't have a weapon on him short of that taser, which is whatever. Nobody gives a shit about that fucking taser. Like, was it worth him losing his life over him falling asleep in a fucking parking lot? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's fucking dumb. Like, why would you kill somebody over a DUI? Like, that's, to me, it's tragic as a whole. How's that fight going? You rocking out?
Yeah, I got into another big fight. I'm sorry. I was listening to every word you said.
Right? I mean, because that's kind of the mental, right?
You have slain an enemy.
Like, what is worth a man's life as a citizen in this country? You know what I mean? And like, how much of what like which laws do we have are worth somebody dying? Like, I think like you could put like murder there, you know what I'm saying? Pedophilia, robbery at a certain point, aggravated assault. Like, these things are worth taking a man's life over, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're committing violence against another human being, like, sure.
Yeah, like
You know
one of the, like with the George Floyd thing, like after I like listened to it all though, the it's like what is worth taking a man's life? Well, what conditions you have to consider that you're actually doing something risky of killing somebody? And whatever, like after like I was like watching kind of just kind of the it was really the defense's position, or just like, yeah, these holds aren't that big of a deal and people are laying down for like 99.9% of people, totally fine. And he's a cop, not a fucking doctor. Like, how's he gonna fucking know?
Again, you know what I mean? Like, fucking, like, yo,
It's not about Floyd or like what it's worth. It's like, how do you even decide if you're making that decision?
well, we as a whole as a society need to have that conversation, right? Like,
Sure.
at what point is every law that we have on the books worth killing somebody?
No.
Right? But I've seen
What?
people die over parking
Yeah.
tickets.
What's funny, what's ridiculous about this shit is, get on Twitter and look up Ashley Babbitt. Like, they're talking about her, like she was, some sort of terrorist that deserved to be shot because she was trespassing in the Capitol building on January 6th.
How do you trespass on a public building?
I don't even know. Yeah, I mean, it certainly was like disorderly conduct and vandalism. It was trespassing, probably. Like, that's probably the best way to describe what most people were guilty of that day. Is trespassing.
No, you can't trespass on a public fucking building.
Oh no, I get it. Like, you can.
No, you
Actually, yes, you absolutely can.
can't. No. I'm gonna disagree.
Well, no. Hold on. Technically, you should just be like, that should never be possible. right?
You know, like,
But like legally saying it's yeah, like, and like I I have like actually like a weird situation where I've had to deal with this. Um, I used to play this geocaching game called Ingress.
okay.
So like different like places of the world is where you have to go to play the game, right? And they're usually like it's synced up to like Google Maps, and the places you have to go are usually historical landmarks and stuff like that. And one of them is like the Truman Library where I live by. And when that shit's closed, like you can't go. You can't go in there. Like it's certainly trespassing, right? Um, one of my friends decided that he was gonna say fuck it, and he was gonna try to hop the fence, and he successfully did so. He set off some alarms, and the FBI was coming after him. And when I say coming after him, they just wanted to ask some questions. Like I'm gonna be real here, but still, like that was trespassing on government property.
Okay. Like,
It's a thing that you can be charged with, and that is the only thing that those people on January 6th, as far as I've seen, are guilty of.
All right. Here's the mental. Right. So, if you have a government building that's paid for with public money, right? I can understand them having hours where they're closed, right? You know what I'm saying? After 5 or after 6 or whatever the case is, whatever time they're closed on the weekends, right? You're not allowed in there. Fucking fine with that, right? But if it's a public building that's conducting public business at any given time, there is no such thing as trespassing at that point. I think that should be all of our mentals. Like, yo, because we pay for it, right? It's our building. Like, yo, if the government is us and we are the government, nigga, like, yo, fuck it, like, yo, fucking, if we own that shit, if they're conducting business, we should be allowed
from
in.
the get-go, I wasn't against you. As like
feel you.
as far as like
feel you.
morally speaking,
I'm just making the argument because like it's gonna go up on my channel too. Like I'm recording this too as well, right? You know what I mean? Like fucking there is no point where, you know what I'm saying, we should stand here and, you know what I mean, like fucking have any type of have this conversation outside of, you know what I mean, like the basic premise of like, this is the government, it's our building, they're conducting government business about us.
Well,
you know what I mean, like,
and that's what's like super fucked up about this whole January 6th thing. We've had like riots forever where they were destroying private property, and then we have all apparently fucking bootlegging authoritarians saying, well, like, you know, they were doing it for a good cause and fuck property, but if it's the government's property, oh man, it's a big deal. We gotta stop that shit.
Like I have much. All right, here's my mentality. All right, I have much less of a problem with individuals standing here burning down a Family Dollar than, you know what I'm saying, burning down, you know what I mean, a bodega, right? Like if you want to burn down that Family Dollar, like, yo, have at it. You want to loot that Family Dollar, have at it, right? You want to stand here and, like, you know what I mean, burn down a police station, have at it. But like I have a major problem when some mom and pop spot gets fucking destroyed.
Well, and that's what happened in Kenosha specifically. Like that's why I kind of joined the whole Free Kyle movement, because
I'm with you, man. Like, yo, I've been over here like on fucking what the hell, Tom Grossi's fucking channel, right? He does football shit, right? Because, you know, I'm still a sports fan, right? And fucking he was talking about he was covering the draft. And I kept throwing in super chats where I was like, yo, man, I heard the fucking Eagles are gonna pick up fucking Kyle Rittenhouse, right? Because they're fucking impressed with his accuracy, right?
yeah, I saw that.
Like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, fucking, that's kind of my mentality. Like, I'm pro Kyle. Like, I am. Like, I'm pro Rittenhouse at the end of the day. But like, you know, I'm not You know, he's like a huge goddamn fan of, you know, fucking.
My issue with the entire thing is that the whole concept of self government and self defense is ruined if what Kyle did is actually deemed illegal. And this goes a little bit deeper, which is one of the biggest problems I have is people will say he had no business there or he put himself into a dangerous situation. I see things very differently, right? The people that were there writing, right? When you show up and you're sitting there and you're gonna try to riot in a city, and you show up and the citizens of that city are around armed, telling you, nope, don't attack our private businesses. That's why we're sitting around with guns. You put yourself in a dangerous situation being a person that wants to go to this city and riot that is actually willing to stand up for itself, right? Like the dangerous situation was not created by Kyle. It was created by the people that showed up in a place that had armed resistance and decided to stay.
I agree with you, right? And that's why, like, I'm fully under the understanding that these people who were rioting were bought and paid for and pawns and stooges of, and I mean, the powers that be that wanted to get Trump the fuck up out of it. Because you notice that they cleaned these riots up the moment that Joe Biden came into goddamn.
Have they? Have you seen Portland?
Yeah. And they called out the goddamn fucking National Guard in Portland the moment fucking Joe Biden came into office.
They did, but they're still just kind of letting them out. I don't know, like it's actually exactly what you expect out of like a Joe Biden administration, right? Like, just let's just play both sides of this.
What do you mean play both sides of it?
Oh, we're gonna pretend to be tough on it when we can, but at the same time, we're gonna let them out and never prosecute anybody.
Yeah, but I like, yo, but they're gonna fucking stand it. Like, they stopped most of this fucking riot shit, right? At the end of the day. Like, they stopped almost all of it the moment fucking, you know what I mean, like, Joe Biden came in office. And they started fucking rioting, and, like, fucking Joe Biden's like, oh, we're calling out the National Guard now, fucking, because Trump's not here anymore. Right? And, like, they don't fucking, they wanted those fucking riots. They wanted those fucking people. They fucking funded these fucking people. And the reason why they did, because they wanted Trump out of office, because Trump was, you know what I'm saying, destroying their ability to make money in goddamn Asia. That's the mentality. So fucking, that's kind of where, you know what I mean, I'm at, as far as shit's going. Anybody else is coming bullshit with fucking Eric. Nobody the hell up at fucking 4 o'clock in the fucking.
Damn, it is fucking 4 o'clock in the morning.
It is. 4 o'clock Saturday morning. I ain't got no goddamn alcohol. It's aggravating.
Oh my god, so like this entire time where like I couldn't figure out how to get my fucking shit going, we had an Adonis Paul come through. We had a Jagan come through. We had a Radical Rick come through. And TW, thank you for still being here.
Yeah, anybody wants to join, you know what I'm saying? We're in the motherfucking, we're in the goddamn Discord.
Yeah, let me see if I can message JP.
Yeah, some come through. We had a Jagan come through. I haven't heard from fucking Jagan in ever. Fuck is goddamn Jagan.
Dun, 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 dun. First and foremost,
Yo, man. And it's Memorial Day weekend, and it's supposed to be garbage until Monday.
I'm looking for a late night animated guy on Twitter right now. God damn it, AP. Why do you be so fucking cryptic in all your shit?
You want me to message AP? I can message him on Discord.
I have him on Discord somewhere. I just don't know where he's at.
I just messaged him the other day. And, yo. In my Discord. If oh, there we go. Yeah, I mean, anyway.
On that note, I'm gonna find something else to play in the background.
Oh, cool.
Let's go to
What?
I'm gonna find a video.
Oh, by the way, have you fucking heard of Savage Nation recently?
I have not.
Me either. Because he's like, I can't find him on YouTube. No goddamn.
Da, 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 da. God, like, so I literally just reinstalled all of my Adobe and video editing bullshit.
Right.
It was all on my old hard drive, and it was in a backup folder, so I installed it all. But I just did it like 2 weeks ago, and it's because for work we had a work event, and this is actually pretty fucking awesome. You know what we did? We went to this place. We didn't even have to wear any mask. We had lunch together. We had some beers. We tie-dyed some t-shirts that there was a t-shirt design for, which brings me to my point. Apparently nobody in this fucking 40-person group of data scientists have any ability to do any sort of graphics design whatsoever. And they just kept throwing out all these options, like, those look fucking terrible. Right? Like, they were literally just, like, doing it in, like, fucking Word or whatever. So I got into Photoshop and did something super simple, where I put our little H&R Block logo, except we were going to tie-dye shirts, so I picked a psychedelic font, and I just put, like, a little We Heart Data thing. That's the main thing. And everybody's like, that looks so awesome! And I was like, Jesus fucking Christ. You super smart people are just, like, super dumb when it comes to how to make a t-shirt.
Oh, man. Yo, I bought some motherfucking onesies for my kids.
You bought it from your own T-Public? Exactly what I was thinking you did.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Gotcha. Man, fucking.
That Red Dead Redemption shirt is pretty hot, though. I can't believe you haven't sold more of them.
Yo, because I don't fucking push my T-Public enough. Like, I feel bad about shilling my fucking T-Public shit. Right. I feel weird about it. You know what I mean? Like, because, like, it's strange to me to, like, be fucking trying to sell merch as a whole. Like, it's fucking weird.
I don't know. That was pretty sweet. What, like, Pinoy T-Public? Is that what it was?
Yeah, man. I just found it the other day. Or today, right? Like it took me. It was really hard to
T-shirts
find
by
it too.
Tom Fino and T Public. Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
this Humanoid Live 2 one, like, it's pretty sweet.
Mm.
You
Like
get it
that
on
Red Dead
there.
Redemption one, fucking awesome. Right. I was debating. Like I need to make a Trash No State shirt. I think that's the one that's gonna be like hot.
I actually remember spending a lot of time in Photoshop on this one. Just getting it
Oh, it's a good
right
looking fucking
with the
design,
right
man.
colors to get on the t-shirt, because that's what I designed it for, right? It was to be on the t-shirt. Like, just getting the colors right for that. I feel like your face is a little bit undersaturated. A little bit too bright, but it's not bad.
Yeah. Like yo, it looks fucking great. I don't give a shit what the fuck you say. It looks fucking. I mean, like yo, you did a damn good job on that one. Right. Like I want to fucking.
It's my
I don't know, man. Like,
superpower. My superpower is if it's software, it can make things
right.
happen.
Yo, I want to like yo. I'm trying to hear soon. I want to like actually like because me and AP were talking about making a cartoon show, and then like he like fucking kind of like skipped out on me. But I want to fucking like make a goddamn. I'm trying. I'm gonna try and make me a fucking cartoon show on here.
We're saying this AP is a bitch ass nigga.
I would never say AP's a bitch ass nigga, but like
Well,
yo,
I hope he's watching because I said it.
I'm gonna try and make me fucking like I'm trying to turn that fucking avatar I have into a puppet, like AP does and shit. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna download Adobe Character Creator and fucking like you know what I mean get into that shit.
Yeah, I think all you need is actually like a um, decent camera. Well, like after you do the art, you just have to have a camera that can pick up on all the movements, and then you're good to
I
go.
have one, right? Like there's a camera on this fucking laptop and shit. It's not bad, right? And also I can get a GoPro if I need to. I have one, you know what I mean? But like fucking I don't know how well it'll work with this fucking shit. You know what I mean? But like I need to go through and like fucking take my avatar and turn it into motherfucking like a character or whatever. So I can sit there and make the mouth move. And then, you know what I mean, like I'm gonna try and create a fucking cartoon show like fucking Ghastly does or whatever, right? But like it's gonna be super trash on the backgrounds because I'm really terrible.
You can also just turn it into like a funny way of making your videos. Like
That's
just
what I was thinking.
put your behind the desk, like you do your entire like your screen caps and stuff, and then you go back to you and just like it's you on the desk,
Yeah.
the big
That's what I
fat
was thinking.
gorilla face being like, "Yo,
Yeah. I don't know like how much GPU it takes up as far as shit's concerned. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I'm not sure to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how much fucking computer hardware I would need to run some shit like that. Something I most definitely wanted to work on as a whole. It's an hour. Yeah.
all right, I give up." I was trying to find AP myself on Twitter, but he's gone. Most likely, his account just got banned again.
Yo, he gets banned all the fucking time. He's like me, right? Like, yo, but I don't keep fighting. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm done. Like, I got tired of this shit.
Yeah, I just say nothing but left wing things. Like I pretend to be like this far left nonsense person, and I never get banned. I can hate on white people all day long. Most absurd shit. It's fucking ridiculous.
The Adventures of Glass Joe.
Yeah. There's. I'm trying to think of the most recent one. Well, actually, the most recent one that I got like 70 retweets for was I just went to the meme generator because turns out Twitter can't read tweets that or images that well. But I was just like responding to this old punk band called Teenage Bottle Rocket. It was like, if you're vaccinated, our tickets are $18. But if you're not vaccinated, they're $1,000. And I'm just like, holy shit. So punk in the 80s, give me all the drugs and fuck all authority. Punk now. Stay in school, kids. Trust everything mainstream media. And he says, and the government too, unless it's Warren Man, because he's bad. Which is actually pretty accurate to the state of punk rock in current society.
Yeah, I'm just like, man, listen, like, holy shit, man, fucking, that was a quick download.
But here's another one. Innocent until proven guilty is a white supremacist concept, and my leftist philosophy instead believes the court of public opinion, so long as the court is all leftist, should determine if somebody is innocent or guilty. Now, that would only be funny if it wasn't for the fact that somebody fucking replied, and they said, whoa, so unironically, he was charged by a court killing 2 people, and he's out on bail. Not because the court ruled him innocent, but because a court of conservatives decided he was innocent and funded his bail. Fucking idiots. And I just read that and I was like, you replied to my sarcastic comic saying that. And what you said was so stupid that after reading it, even I became dumber. Like, let's break it down. He said he was charged by a court for killing 2 people. You know what's wrong with that? I know you do, but I just want you to say it because it's really easy.
What, that he was charged by a court for killing 2 people?
Yeah.
I do believe everybody's charged by a court for killing, like, when you kill people.
No, nobody is ever charged by a court. Ever. You are charged by a grand jury or a prosecutor. And that is an executive function. The court has nothing to do with your chargings at all. But then he said he was out on bail not because a court ruled him innocent. Now there's 2 problems there. Hey Tom P, when do courts ever rule somebody innocent? Has that ever happened in American history?
Well, yeah.
All right. So there's a technicality there.
I mean, like, because, like, you have jury trials and then you have judge trials.
Yeah. Well, hold on. There's a technicality there, so I'll agree with you. A court rules everybody innocent. Everybody that's ever been charged, which the court doesn't charge people, right? Prosecutors or a grand jury charge people, and that's an executive function.
No. What happens is that you have all right. So the prosecutor can fucking all right. So the cops make a recommendation to the prosecutor. The prosecutor can bring charges, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the prosecutor doesn't, or the fucking court can reject the fucking charges and shit.
Well, they can dismiss them for sure, but they actually can't bring the charges. Like the court itself does not just look at a situation and say this person is being charged or something. Right? It's got to be it's an executive function to bring charges before the court or a grand jury function. But the judiciary, like that branch of government, does not charge people with crimes. It only rules whether or not a crime was committed or not. The other thing is a court does not ever rule anybody innocent. It doesn't. It never has. We have a standard called you are innocent until proven guilty. So the court just assumes you're innocent until a jury declares you guilty. That's why juries say you were either guilty or not guilty. Like, innocence is a presumption. It's not something the court actually does. So, if you are charged with the crime by the executive branch, the court does not rule whether or not, or the court did not make the charges. The court does not rule anybody innocent. Bail is just something that they provide you to ensure that you show up to court hearings, because until you are proven guilty, you are presumed innocent.
Yeah, but they want you to like show up at fucking court and shit.
Yeah, no, this person did it. What I'm saying is, this is like in response to me like saying about like what leftists think they like how the court should work. And this person replied back to my whole thing about innocent until proven guilty is a white supremacist concept, with like a whole bunch of nonsense about he was charged by the court, now he's out on bail, not because the court ruled him innocent, which is something the court never does, but because a court of conservatives, which it wasn't a court, it was just individuals that believe that it was a worthy cause, to bail him out, decided he was innocent, which really they didn't make the decision. They just believe he is based on the evidence in front of them, and funded his bail. And then they called us idiots. And I was just like, you literally replied to my whole thing about how leftists don't believe in this idea that, and granted, I think our court system is fucked up, but the idea of innocent until proven guilty, that's a really good one. And this guy like doesn't understand that, and prove my point.
Well, most people have no idea how the court system works, right? And like I've fucking shown this a couple of goddamn times when I've fucking, you know what I mean? God, that's why.
Oh, I am well aware that most people don't know it, and I'm well aware that you've actually talked about it. Because even how the court system is supposed to work, it doesn't work that way. And it's the most fucking classist legal system you could possibly have.
Oh yeah. Right, and on top of that, like fucking the legal system is basically it's basically a goddamn business, right? Because like, you know, you've stood here and or fucking they stand here. Hang on. Da-da-da. All right, yeah. All right. Hang on. Okay, cool. Fucking yeah. So like, fuck, I'm sorry, I'm downloading fucking this character creator. Like the problem, it's a fucking business. So like they run it like a goddamn business. Like you're like a box at fucking Amazon that somebody fucking put together like fucking on a random Thursday or whatever. They have no idea who the fuck they are. They don't care about you. You know what I mean? That's probably like a good thing. But on the same point, it's shit because like fucking the prosecutors, you know what I mean, get reelected. They're elected officials for the most part. And they, you know, I mean, get reelected by how many individuals they find fucking guilty and put behind bars, and how good their fucking, you know, I mean, their record is in court, which is fucking retarded. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it should actually literally be the opposite. Like the less prosecutions a prosecutor has and the less crime that's going on, the more rewarded they should be for being a prosecutor.
Well, it should be how many people did you find innocent? I think is a good metric, right? Like
You
how
said,
many times have you prevented somebody from going to fucking?
yeah, I know,
think-
I know. I said things like in a lot of words, but you're kind of agreeing with me.
Well, because I don't really care about crime, right? I don't. Like, because the fucking justice system has nothing to do with crime in the end of the day, right? Like, it's not their job to fucking bring crime levels down. It's their job to find innocence or guilt as best as they can in their fucking, you know what I mean, their system, right? So, like, I think that, you know what I mean, in the system working, they should, and in this fucking mentality of faith in the system, you know what I mean, they should be judged on how many people they find innocent, right? That way, you know what I mean, they have, you know what I mean, more credibility as far as shit's concerned.
Well, and this is part of the reason why, like, I know you're not into it, but I've kind of gone into this whole free Kyle movement. it's not a matter of
I'm on the case.
like, do I believe that I don't know. Do I believe this whole Kyle Rittenhouse situation is going to be the end all be all of self defense? And the answer to that question is like kind of actually. I really do. Right? It's a somewhat unique only because he was underage. But nonetheless, like I just don't understand how fucking people watch those videos and are just like, yeah, he murdered 3 people and he's totally fucking guilty. I was like, it's textbook self-defense. Like, if we're gonna live in a free society, people should be able to fucking show up in their community with guns to stop criminals from fucking tearing it down. Like, fucking burning shit and looting it, right? That should be a given in any free society. And Kyle Rittenhouse, he didn't even say, like, look, you just can't burn down the shit that, like, this public stuff. If you want to go over to the government district and burn their shit down, that's fine. But I'm going to protect private property in my community. And because, like, some motherfucker, like, chased him down and was about to fucking beat, like, way bigger than him. Turned around, shot him. Somebody hit him in the fucking back of the head with a skateboard. Hit him with the skateboard, tried to grab his gun, shot him. And then some other guy pulled a gun on him and shot it. Like, he shot him, right? Didn't even kill the guy that pulled a gun on him. Because of that, people all over Twitter are just like, this guy should rot in jail forever.
Brighten your day.
Well, yeah, because like it's a fucking it's
They don't
To
believe
them?
in self-defense.
well, no, it's not that. It's a jihad thing to them, right? It's a religious war. He killed one of theirs.
Yep. Like,
That's the mentality.
yeah.
It literally, and this is what I'm saying. Like, yo, fucking, this is the goddamn problem that like I have with arguing with dumb people or arguing with dumb people, not you, but like fucking the left as a whole about these issues is because of the fact that I'd much rather cut to the chase and get where we're going.
Well, like, I do that sarcastically, and then they come up with those dumb responses, which I just went over.
I'm on the case.
Right, I know, but like I'd much rather just cut to the fucking quip about shit, right? I don't want to argue their points. I fucking hate arguing other people's fucking argument.
Well, I get that, but I also like getting people to admit that they're really just biased. They don't actually
Yeah.
care that Kyle was defending
feel you.
himself. All they care about is that he is not one of theirs and he should fry.
Do you want? All right, here's the thing, right? And this is the difference, right, between like me and you on these type of issues, as far as like the critical race theory and all this shit. It's, do you want to fucking like sit here and argue, or do you want to win?
So these are separate, right? So the Kyle Rittenhouse thing is going to be a lot of sitting and arguing. The critical race theory thing, I think winning is actually exposing what critical race theory actually is. In fact, like, you look at all the shills in the mainstream media articles, like, I know this is your big thing, right? But they're coming out now that it's been called out. And all the shills are just trying to say that people that are saying critical race theory does this thing that most people look negative on, these people are just kooks. And then the people that are like, hold on, did you actually read the literature? Because it's right here. I'll just read verbatim what they said. It's actually as kooky as you think it is. Like, it's terrible. So I think people are actually, like, I think we're reaching this point where actually, no, I gotta go back, because I was saying, like, we're actually getting to a point. So I started talking about this before it was like I listened to talk radio and I would hear about critical race theory constantly, right? Like, this is happening now. It's critical race theory is everywhere. People are talking about it. But I was talking about it before anybody was talking about it. And like the biggest problem here is that only conservatives have picked up on the fact that it's complete bullshit. And it's
Want to see a hat trick?
I'm trying to describe the situation. But actually, that's wrong. It's not just conservatives, right? Like, it's people like Brett Weinstein, who's like a super progressive person. Like, they're also in on this. Like, they're calling this out as bullshit. However, the only people highlighting it are like conservatives, and then that's fucking up the entire movement against it. It's not a left versus right issue. I've been trying to tell people that for a long time. But unfortunately, only like major left or right wing figures have started speaking out against it.
Again, like I really like Moldbug's and Kaczynski's ideologies, right? And like they both are in full agreement about this shit. It's really simple. You want to beat this shit, you just explain to these goddamn people that they're helping the system. Right? That they're literally they're actors for the system. And like they get punched in the mouth and they shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? It's a much easier way of arguing. You know, I mean, you explain to them that like, yo, the system wants them doing what they're doing because you're literally helping more people get put into the grinder. That's how you defeat feminism too. Like that's how you beat all this shit. That's why I don't lose arguments about these things, right? Like I can lose economic arguments with guys like TFM, but I don't never lose arguments about this shit.
Time for a shakedown.
Ugh.
You know what I mean? Like that's really where it gets down to. Like you just, you explain to women, like, yo, when the women go, man, like, fuck, women need economic freedom. I'm like, yo, look, what you're saying is that work equals freedom, right? And that's the same shit that was written over Auschwitz. Right? And they go, and like, yo, you're having your conversation. Right? Instead of arguing with them about their dumb fucking points that don't matter. You know what I mean? The same thing with critical race theory. Same exact shit. You just be like, yo, look, you know, I mean, you do understand that they're just trying to get you into the system so they can sell you more fucking goods and get you to fucking, you know what I mean, be more into their fucking system. They're trying to enslave you.
Yep. Like, I don't know, there's so much. Like, I look at the CRT shit that I've been, like, studying and stuff, and it's so, like, the way CRT spreads is so similar to kind of, like, the bullshit political philosophy in general that it is spreading. Like, the way COVID-19 worked, right?
Yeah, again, dude, it comes out of the same colleges. It comes out of the same places from the same fucking people. Like, yo, these are political arguments to serve the corporate interests. This is the managerial revolution and it's fucking at its core.
I mean, remember a year ago when we were just like, okay, so here's the information they gave us, but apparently, even though it makes a lot of sense that this Wuhan virology lab would have been the source of the virus, we can't say that, or we're gonna get banned from YouTube. Right? Like, we just looked at the facts given and we're like, no, instead we have to say it naturally came from bats from thousands of miles away instead of this virology lab that was literally studying, like I don't know. They actually have a word now for it. I didn't have that word then, but the gain of function research, yeah.
Yeah. Like, I feel you, right? I do. Like, I feel what you're saying. It's just my mental, my mental cannot allow me to argue with people about like dumb shit, right? In the end of the day, like, because I've been arguing with broads my whole fucking life, and like I've learned that the best way to win is not to argue with them about their fucking point, right? It's to turn their bullshit back on them and fucking like force them into, you know what I mean, submission. right? And then you can, once you have that fucking point stood, and you go, all right, well now we're in fucking agreement about this shit, or about some, you know what I mean, about some other fucking point as a whole. Now we can have this conversation, because you will never win an argument with these critical race theorists on their ground.
You
Right.
no,
It's-
you
it's-
actually you can't. And this is one of the things like I try to explain to people. Critical race theory is unfalsifiable. You can't win the argument, and the reason why is the way their grounds work is if you disagree with them, there's only two options. You're a racist trying to uphold white supremacy, or you don't understand critical race theory. Those are the only two options. There is no third option where you understand it and have
So
principled
why do you keep
disagreement
arguing?
that they need to respond to. Oh no, I'm not ever actually trying to argue with the critical race theorist. I'm actually just arguing with the people around to say like this is ridiculous. Like you should not.
Well, I think you're kind of like fucking, you know what I mean, you're preaching to the choir at that.
A lot of the times, but not always. Like really, like here's the problem with critical race theory that makes it a little bit different is whenever you're sitting there saying like you're either racist or you don't understanding it, you're actually playing to people's their personal like moral authority, right? And you're trying to strip it from people. And whenever you provide principal arguments against it and you tell people this is stupid, you actually empower your average fucking person to just be like, okay, I shouldn't be buying into this bullshit. And I know that seems to you like it's ridiculous, but even look at like what happens with masks, right? I've noticed this, like, so whenever I went to the store the first day the mask mandate was lifted, I had a mask on. Like, I didn't want to wear it, but I noticed that an employee wasn't wearing it. I just fucking took it off, and I was like, yeah, fuck this thing, right? And then I started showing up to places with no mask, and I'd walk in, people would have masks on, and then people would just start taking them off, right? Not everybody, but some would. The fact of the matter is most people are just kind of like, they don't want to create any waves or ripples. But if you have enough people like that are really strong in a position, they're gonna be like, yeah, they knew this shit was fucking stupid, and they're gonna take their fucking mask off. And I think it's the same with critical race theory. The more people that just sit there and stand and say like strongly and just be like, this shit's fucking dumb, the more people that are gonna be like, yeah, I'm not gonna abide to this nonsense. It sounds sad, but it's absolutely true. What I'm really trying to do is appeal to the sheeples, which is most people. Most people are sheep.
Yeah, like I don't know.
I'm
like,
just trying to
looking
get.
at it, like,
Let's just try to get the sheep.
I'm looking.
Get the sheep on my side on this one. Because if I,
I'm looking.
because
to, like,
if I
win the
fail,
argument.
if I fail to get the sheep on my side, then well, the argument's already won because they have no argument. But they indoctrinate people, right? It's cultist-like behavior. So as long as I get the sheeple on my side to say it's okay to oppose this cult, I think I've done a good job.
Don't be caught flat-footed.
I feel like my mental has always been like, you know, like fucking, let's have a conversation about the system as a whole.
Yeah, actually, I think the reason critical race theory doesn't like compute with you is it's way dumber than anything that you've ever dealt with.
Like, yo, it don't make no sense as to like why the fuck I would argue with stupid people about dumb shit. Like I can't fucking do it. Like I can't bring myself to go like, man, listen, like this is fucking retarded,
An
you know?
enemy has been slain.
Like that's kind of my mentality. Like this is fucking retarded. Like why am I arguing with stupid people?
Enemy double kill.
Yep. Alright, well, Jesus fucking Christ. It's like 4 in the morning, isn't it?
4:30.
Right.
Yeah, I gotta get up.
I'm gonna sit here and fuck with this. I'm gonna sit here and fuck with this character creator I just downloaded. And fucking see if I can make it. But like, yeah, go take your ass to bed and get some fucking rest. I got some shit to do later today myself. I just want to see if
Yeah.
I can make this motherfucker work for me.
Good talks. I hope you edit this up and turn it into like a nice 15-minute video.
Nice 15 minutes. Shit, I'm just gonna upload the whole fucking thing.
All
Actually, I
right,
turned it
man.
off, like fucking about like 15 minutes ago. All right, man.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later, dude.
All right.
I love a chase.